PC24 RETV ਦੇ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ 'ਚ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹਾਊਸਿੰਗ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਦੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੜੀ ਈਗਰ ਕੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਈਗਰ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੰਤਜ਼ਾਰ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਸੀਗੇ, ਉਹ ਰਿਲੀਜ਼ ਹੋ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ ਰੀਜਨਲ ਰੀਅਲ estate ਵੱਲੋਂ ਇਹ ਜਾਰੀ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਗਈ ਹੈ ਅੱਜ, ਅਤੇ ਉਹ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀ ਬਹੁਤੀ ਉਹਦੇ ਸੰਬੰਧੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਹੈ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਅਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਸਵਾਲ ਹੋਏ ਉਹਦੇ ਮੁਤਲਕ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਾਲ ਕਰਕੇ ਪੁੱਛ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ 'ਚ ਸ਼ਿਰਕਤ ਕਰਨੀ ਚਾਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਅਸੀਂ 3 ਗੈਸਟ ਨੂੰ ਐਟ ਏ ਟਾਈਮ ਆਪਣੇ ਬਰੋਡਕਾਸਟ 'ਚ ਲੈ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਰਿਕੁਐਸਟ ਕਰ ਲੈਣਾ, ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜੁਆਇਨਿੰਗ ਲਿੰਕ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਈਮੇਲ ਕਰ ਦਾਂਗੇ ਅਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਜੁੜ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਆਪਣੇ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਂਝੇ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਜੀ ਹਾਂ, ਹਾਊਸਿੰਗ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਬਾਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਿਚਨਰ ਦੀ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਡਿਟੇਲਡ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ ਰੀਜਨਲ ਰੀਅਲ estate ਬੋਰਡ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਆਈ ਹੈ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਕੋਈ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਟੱਚ ਬੇਸ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹਾਂਗੇ। ਇੱਕ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਸ਼ਾਰਟ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ, ਇੱਕ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਡਿਟੇਲ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਹੈ। ਦੋਨੇ ਹੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰਨ ਦਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਪਰਾਲਾ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਬਿਫੋਰ ਵੀ ਬਿਗਨ our broadcast, I would like to congratulate each and every one of you if you are celebrating your birthday, your anniversary, you got a newborn baby in your family and you closed your home sale. Fantastic. Many congratulations to you. So stay safe, stay happy, and spread your happiness all around. So this is what Kitchener and Waterloo report looks like in August 2023 compared with August of 2022. There were 249 listings. So in 2023 August. Last year in the same month there were 261 listings, new listings. That is a drop of 4.6% in Kitchener, city of Kitchener, or right. So that's what I have here. And then new listings, I just told you the number of sales in August compared with last year have went down by 24.3%. It's a whooping 24.3% drop in the transactions in city of Kitchener. The number of listings that sold in Kitchener is 134. Last year they were 174. August was tight last year as well. We all know it because we were reeling under so many interest rate hikes by Bank of Canada. Things were not looking rosy. So I guess the drop in number of sales is due to inability of home buyers to get mortgage qualified, and B, sellers being very reluctant to bring their properties for sale. The homeowners being very reluctant because they didn't know what they will get in the market and how they will buy the next house given the new interest rates. So many homeowners probably did not put their houses for sale for the simple reason that if they sell, if they get a new mortgage, they would be paying way higher rate of interest. So if you know any fact in this regard, you are most welcome to share your mindset. An average sale price in city of Kitchener went up by 2.7%. That's a good development. So the average sale price reported is $835,435, and the median sale price is lower than this. So I have explained this many times that the median sale price is the price where most people are comfortable buying. So that median price has gone up by 0.5%. The new median price compared with last August recorded in this month, last month was $780,669. That is how the median sale price changed over time. The inventory, it's a great coincidence. Sorry for fumbling. 258 homes available for sale this year and same number of houses available last year. This is kind a lock put up on that. And now the inventory, we have only 2 months inventory in Kitchener, 1.9 months to be accurate. So that means 27 days or 28 days. I will just call it 2 months inventory. So any house that you see today will sell in 2 months. On the top of it, let's drill down Kitchener a bit. Townhouses and condominiums, 2022 and 2023. New listings in condominium and townhomes went up by 39.5%. That is 233 new listings in August compared with only 167 last year. So what I understand is the new listing went up in townhome sector. Probably many people upgraded to bigger homes, or the stress took them by surprise and they have to sell. There were 1.7% more sales of townhouses/condos in August 2023. 119 houses sold last year. There were 2 less, 119. And number of days it takes to sell a property in Kitchener as recorded in August was only 22. Median sale price of townhouses and condominium fell to $590,000, and this was 3.5% more than the last year. The average sale price went up by 22% to and close to the median price. It is $592,575. So if you ask me what percentage of asking price was the sale price, so it was 104.5% in Kitchener. That means people got more money than they were looking for by 4.5%. So this was more than last year's percentage of sold price, which was 101.3%. 271 houses are available for sale, and this inventory in Kitchener is higher than last year by 48.1%, and there is 2.6 months inventory left to sell. So this is median. This was a scenario of the townhouses/condominium. In this, initially we spoke about single-family houses. So single-family houses, like I told you, their sales were down by 24.3%, while townhouses and condos went up by 1.7%. New listings increased by 39.5% in the condo and townhouses, while they dropped by 4.6% in the single family homes. So this was a little thing about the Kitchener. So we are seeing marked differences from the last year. Now I would like to say a bit more about the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board. So first of all, I would like to tell you that the total transactions under Greater Toronto area, they fell by 5.2%. That's a big drop, 5.2%. So how big is that? In August last year, 5,584 houses sold last year. And don't forget, they were selling under stress too because of the rate increases. This year, last month, 5,294 houses sold. That is what 5.2% looks like. So if we look at how much prices changed from last month, sorry, number of transactions changed from last month to now, the drop was only 1%. So last month, that is July 2022, the number of sales were 5,499, but now the number reported was 5,550. Sorry. In July last year, so in July 2023, the number of sales were 5,552, but in August the number fell to 5,499. I stand corrected. I just started reading some message that popped up on the screen. Average selling price is up by very little, 0.3%, not even noticeable. The last year average price was $1,079,048. Now the price is $1,082,496. If we look at over the last month, which is July, the rate actually dropped by 1.6% from, this is a seasonally adjusted price. The rate went down by 1.6% from last month. So on a number of listings, the total new listing that populated the MLS system went up by 16.2%. Against 10,578 last year, we got 12,296 new listings in August 2023. Sales to new listing ratio. This is a very important criteria that one must understand. So what is meant by sales to new listing ratio? The sales to new listing ratio means, let us say there were 100 listings that populated in the month of August 2023. But at the same time, 43 of them sold within the same month. So this criteria refers only to the new listings in a month to the listings sold in the same month. So of 100 listings that came in, 43 sold. That means the sales to new listing ratio was 43%, and this fell down from last year by 10%. Last year, the sale to new listing ratio was 53%. So the higher the number, the better the market for the sellers. The lower the number, the better the market for the buyer. So that means we are kind of more or less in a balanced kind of situation at this point, with lesser buyer, lesser sellers, somehow cancels each other out. It is taking 17.6% lesser days to sell the property from the point it was listed to the point it sold. But at the same time, when it was listed finally, whenever it was listed finally, so property days on market is a higher number than listing days on market. So listing days on market is when the listing finally sold. The number of days a sold listing was on the market determines the average listing days on the market. And the property days on market means from whenever it was first listed in a year to when it sold in the month or whatever it is. So basically it is, let's say a house was listed today, 10 days later, let's say a house was listed last month. 10 days later, they cancelled it. Then they again listed it. It was in the market for another 10 days. Then they terminated it again, then relisted it. And finally, it sold in 6 days. So listing days on market would be 6 days. But the property days on market will be 10 plus 10 plus 6, 26 days. So this is how this number is explained. So this is about the residential sales. And if we come down to the condominium sales, so we will be looking at the quarterly sales, quarter 2 2023 versus quarter 2 2022. So the number of condominium apartment sales went up by 20.7% in this quarter 2 versus last quarter. Average selling price fell down by 4.2% from the last second quarter, and total new listings in this second quarter fell down 13.6% from the last second quarter, and then sales to new listing ratio went up by 15%. It's a good thing. It is 55%. 55% condo units are selling in a quarter. Quarter 2 versus quarter 2 of 2022. Days on market has slightly increased by 5 days. Ratio looks bigger, so I'm not going to talk about that. And the rental, the average one bedroom rent has gone up by 11.6%. Just today there was this video on I guess TikTok, where two sisters were complaining about their landlord having increased their rent by a whooping $7,000. Their rent was $2,500, but the landlord first increased by $3,500, so that made it $6,000. Then he decided to raise another $3,500. So now the final rent is $9,500. Wow! And this is in a building which does not fall under the Rent Control Act. So Rent Control Act, guys, does not fall on each and every property. So what I'm going to tell you about how you should protect yourself when you are buying a property which is not under Rent Control Act. There are properties before November 2018 that are subject to Rent Control Act. But then any property built after, I guess, is some date in November, maybe November 11 or so, 2018, those properties are not covered under Rent Control Act. I will try to figure out when it was the buildings and not. So basically, the Rent Control Act does not apply to every buildings. This is somehow, I do not remember the exact date, but it was sometimes in 2018, a month of, November 15. Any listing, any building that was rented after November 15, 2018 is not covered under Rent Control Act. They can change rent whatever they want. So you have to be very careful when you buy when you lease in such buildings. So, and then there are also exceptions to certain kinds of buildings which are not under rent control. We'll talk about them today after we have a break. So the government decides what to do, what not to do, and I will also share with you an experience being faced by one of my past clients whose landlord decided to increase the rent by a whooping 600 plus. And my client is under extreme stress and he's worried that this may be very dangerous for him. So I had a chit chat with the landlord and I made him understand that he cannot do it under the law. And if he does that, it will backfire on him. I wanted him to be educated and I told him to go to the landlord and tenant board website, enlighten himself about the legislation and the act, and then talk to the tenant. So we are going to talk about that very, very soon. So I'm coming back to the housing market report in the Greater Toronto Area, GTA. So there are two segments to the Greater Toronto Area report. One is City of Toronto and the rest is all other areas other than Toronto. So we call them as 905 areas. And City of Toronto is 416 area. So do not confuse it with your phone numbers, area codes. You may be living in Brampton but still have 905 code. But this is a different classification. So 905, rest of GTA except Toronto. 416 is only and only Toronto. So we'll talk about that in our next segment and we'll tell you what best you can do. It will be a thought that I want to implant in your mind. So when you lease a property in a building that is not under rent control, you should try to put something in your agreement to lease that will protect you forever. We'll come back to that very soon. Thank you very much, Hanspaji. So nice of you to be here. If you want to join my broadcast, let me know and I will send you the link to join my meeting so everyone can see you. Last time we were talking in TikTok, but other broadcasts did not feature your mindset. So I would like to share my special link where you can just join my broadcast. Anyway, so coming back to the detailed market, so this is what GTA Realtors release says for the month of August. So I will come back to it after a quick break. Yeah, no problem, sir. I know you must be helping some people try to invoke their positive energy and see the better side of the world. I know that. So we'll back with a little break. Then we'll talk about the market in detail and also how to protect yourself when you're leasing a property that is in a building which is not under Rent Control Act. Stay tuned. Are you thinking of selling your home? You are covered. From my experience of 14 plus years in the real estate industry, this is what I have come to know. There are three major concerns that any home seller would want their realtor to answer. Number one, how much is their home worth? Number two, how long will it take to sell their house? And number three, what will the agent do to make it sell? I have answers to all these questions. To schedule your one-on-one appointment, call me at 647-424-0358. Once again, Paul Chima, broker with Remax Prime Properties. My phone number to call is 647-424-0358. Call me now and get moving.
From a vast experience in immigration industry, this is what I've figured out. Clients want to know if their application is submitted in a timely fashion, what a representative can do to serve best interest of their client. Clients are informed on a regular basis about the progress of their application. We deliver what we promise. My phone number is 647-465-8894 or reach me out at 639-998-1992.
Are you thinking of a career change or adding another one to your portfolio? Well, you are thinking right. Call Sarabjit Luddar at 416-879-3039 from Beyond Care Insurance Solutions. She also deals in life, long-term travel, critical illness, disability insurance. Give her a call today at 416-879-3039. This is what we can tell you. She will always give you the right advice and help you find out if being an insurance advisor is your piece of cake.
Are you looking for a reliable legal office that can handle your closing in the most effective manner? If yes, please get in touch with Rakesh Joshi at 416-213-8600. Joshi Law Office provides all the legal advices about real estate law, business law, immigration laws, notarization and affidavits, wills and trust. Give them a call today, 416-213-8600. ਅਵੰਤਿਆ ਬੜਾ ਖੁਸ਼ ਤੁਰਿਆ ਹੋਣਾ ਕਿ ਲਾਟਰੀ ਲੂਟਰੀ ਲੱਗ ਗਈ ਤੇਰੀ। ਕਾਸ਼ ਇਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਲਾਟਰੀ ਲੱਗਦੀ। ਵੈਸੇ ਗੱਲ ਤੇ ਲਾਟਰੀ ਵਰਗੀ ਹੈ। ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਦਾ ਬੀਮਾ ਕਰਵਾ ਕੇ ਆਇਆ ਤੇ ਜੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕੁਝ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਤੇ ਮੇਰੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਮੇਰੇ ਮਗਰੋਂ ਕੋਈ $1 ਮਿਲੀਅਨ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਊਗਾ। ਉਹ ਅੱਛਾ, ਇਹ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ? ਉਹ ਜੇ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਕਮਲਜੀਤ ਬੋਲਾ ਨੂੰ ਸੰਪਰਕ ਕਰ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਫੋਨ ਨੰਬਰ 647 772 1481। ਹੁਣੇ ਹੀ ਕਰ ਲੈ ਫੋਨ, ਬੈਠੇ ਨੇ, ਨਹੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਸੇਜ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਛੱਡ ਦੇਂ। ਉਹ ਬੱਲੇ ਤੇਰੇ। PC24 ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ 5 ਚੈਨਲਾਂ 'ਤੇ ਬੜੇ ਸ਼ੌਕ ਨਾਲ ਦੇਖੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ। ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਪ੍ਰਮੋਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ ਤਾਂ 647 333 2273 'ਤੇ ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ। ਕੁਝ ਸਮੇਂ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਇਹ ਸੇਵਾਵਾਂ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਮੁਫਤ ਦਿੱਤੀਆਂ ਜਾ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ। 6473332273। Welcome back to our broadcast. We are discussing the market report for Kitchener in the Kitchener-Waterloo region, and also we are now talking about the market watch for the Greater Toronto area. And I just gave you some critical numbers telling you that the number of sales have dropped in GTA this time of the year from the last year. New listings have gone up by 16.2%. Active listings, that is listings that are available for sale, have gone up by 16.5%, kind of same as new listings. Average price has gone up slightly, 0.3%, and average property days on market has also gone down from 34 to 28. This is a great accomplishment actually. So houses are selling much faster than before, and also the listing days on market has gone down from 22 to 20 days. 2 days bonus, we all got there, so it's great, right? So things are selling. The policy rate has been maintained at 5% by Bank of Canada. Why? Because they considered the negative growth in GDP for the month of July, which was negative 0.2%. No, not July, for the second quarter. I stand corrected. The mortgage rates, they keep varying from 6.79 to 7.89%. There could be other rates that you can always reach out to me. Prime rate this time is 7.2%, and if you are taking a brand new mortgage, your variable rate could be 7.2 minus 95 basis point, depends. But if you are refinancing or renewing your rate could be prime minus 40 or 30 or 20, depends on which lending institution you have your relationship with. So this is what we have to look at when we quote you a rate. So prime rate is 7.20%, and inflation is at 3.3% for the month of July 2023. So now, this is what has been reported by the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board, and they say this, I'm quoting the report as is. Higher borrowing cost, continued uncertainty about the economy and the Bank of Canada decision making, and the constrained supply of listings resulted in fewer home sales in August 2023 compared to August 2022. The average selling price remained virtually unchanged over the same period. It was 1,079,848 last time. It is 1,082,496. Some little change in the pricing. It is very small, very minuscule actually, hardly noticeable, 0.3%. So looking on a seasonally adjusted monthly basis, sales and average prices, they came down. Looking forward, this is a quote from, I'm quoting TREP President Paul Barron. Looking forward, we know there will be solid demand for housing, both ownership and rental, in the Greater Toronto Area and broader Greater Golden Horseshoe, GGH. Record immigration levels alone will assure this. In the short term, we will likely continue to see some volatility in terms of sales and home prices as buyers and sellers wait for more certainty on the direction of borrowing cost and the overall economy. Greater Toronto Area Realtors reported 5,294 sales in the month of August 2023, which is down by 5.2% over the same period. New listings were up by 16.2%, and active listing also went up by 16.5%. So there was some relief given because when the number rises, more buyers can afford homes. But year-to-date listings are still down substantially compared to the same period last year. Seasonally adjusted sales were slightly down, which is 1% from the last month. So more balanced market condition this summer compared to the tighter spring market resulted in selling prices hovering at last year's levels and dipping slightly compared to July as interest rates continue to increase in May after a pause in the winter and early spring. Many buyers have had to adjust their offers in order to qualify for higher monthly payments. Not all sellers have chosen to take lower than expected seller prices, resulting in lesser sales. So this is from Jason Mercer, the TREP Chief Market Analyst. The MLS Home Price Index composite benchmark for August 2023 was up by 2.5% year over year. The average selling price was also up, but by less than 1% to $1,082,496 over the same time frame. On a month-over-month basis, which is seasonally adjusted, MLS HPI composite benchmark was virtually unchanged, and average price edged lower by 1.6%. And this is what it says further. While higher interest rates have certainly impacted affordability, the prospect of higher taxes will also hit households' balance sheets especially younger buyers with limited savings. With the City of Toronto moving to raise the municipal land transfer tax rate on properties over $3 million as a revenue tool, it must also consider helping first time home buyers struggling to enter the market by adjusting their tax rebate threshold to reflect today's higher home prices. This is mentioned by TREB's CEO, John DeMichel. So, in the beginning, I told you that the market report is consists of two separate components, Toronto and rest of Toronto, that is 416 and 905. So how the prices are changing in these two areas, I will give you four distinct housing types, which is detached, semis, townhouses, and condominium apartment, and how they fared in 416, that is Toronto, versus 905, which is rest of GTA. So let's first talk about 416. In 416, detached home sales were reported at 451, semis sold 138 houses. Townhouses sales were 208. Condo apartment sales were 1,086. So condo apartment were more in demand. The next property type in demand was the detached home. Third was townhome, and semis were the last. So that means in 416 area, the demand for detached fell down by 11.2%. Semis fell down by 12.7%. Townhouses increased by 15.6%, and condominium apartment went up by 6.5%. The sales in 905 area by housing type is like this: detached 1,813 sales, semis 308 houses sold, townhouses 728 sold, condo apartment 523 sold. And compared with last year, this is how the change appeared in 905 area. Detached demand went down by 12.2%, semis went down by 15.2%, townhouses went down by 2.9%, and condominium apartment went up by 10.1%. So let's come down to average prices in 416 and 905 area. In 416, the detached home average price was $1,635,145, while their counterparts in 905 were at $1,361,943. This is about more than 200,000 down. Semis in 416 sold for an average price of $1,235,723, while in 905 the semis sold for $992,822. Wow, what a difference. So the townhouses in 416 area sold for an average price of $971,090, compared with $925,718 in the 905 area. Condo apartment in 416 averaged at $724,549, while in 905 they averaged $666,167. Let's talk about the percentage change from the last year. In 416, the detached home average prices fell down by 0.8%. Of semi-detached homes went up by 5.4%. Let me retrace my steps. In 416, the semis went up by 9.4%. Townhouses went up by 6.2%, while condominium apartment went down by 1.8%. Remember that condo apartments sold more than other house types in 416 area. Now we're coming down. Hi Harry. Now we come down to 905. In a 905, the detached home sales went up by 3.8% from the last year, 5.4% for the semi-detached. That was an upgrade from the last year. Townhomes average prices went up by 3.1% from the last year, and condominium apartment went up by 1.6% from last year in the 905 area. This is where the snapshot lies, how this looks like. If we go to breakdown of by price range, then under $99,999 detached home, there were only 2 sales. Detached homes, I don't know where they were, but they were under $99,000. Wow. That was all. No semis, no attached townhouse, nothing else sold under this price. So between 200,000 and 299,999, only 1 detached home sold and 3 condo apartment. But most of the sales were recorded in the price range of $1 million to $1.5 million. If I total these numbers up for these 2 price ranges, that is $1 million to 1.25 and 1.25 to 1.499999. So my number, which is 495 plus 435 divided by 2264. So this particular price range, $1 million to $1.5 million, actually sold about 41% of the inventory. That is the total sale portion. Wow. Average price between $1 million to $1.5 million. So the number of sales are about 41% for this price range, right? The semis, this was for detached home sales. And for semis, the semis sold about 900,000 to $1.25 million. That was the maximum range for the semis, right? So 42.8%, the houses that sold from out of 5,294 total sales, were 43% was more or less was detached home sales. Only 8.4% was semi-detached home sales, and 9.4% was attached raw townhouses sales. Condo apartments sold 30.4%, right? And all others, link, co-op, detached condo, co-ownership, were kind of negligible. Condo townhouses accounted for 8.3% sale. So highest selling house type is the detached, 42.8, followed by condominium apartment. People either go on the lower side or they go on the top side. This is what I see. But the maximum detached price home sales are between this price range, which is $1 million to 1.5. So $1 million to 1.5, which is 854 plus 612 divided by 5294. So this, sorry, I messed up. 854 plus 612 divided by 5294. So this is about 28% of total inventory, but 42% only for the detached inventory. This is cool. Another price range that I'm looking at is between $8 to $900,000, and that price range holds good for condominium apartments and also for details. Some of them 187, but condominium apartment went up. They were more, and 6 to 700,000 were condominium apartment maximum. So they were way more than any other thing. So we'll talk about how to protect yourself from the random rent increase in the buildings that are not covered under rent control guidelines in a while. Stay with us. So coming down to the breakdown between which area sold how many houses. So out of 5,294 sales, Toronto accounted only for a sale of 1,891 houses. 1,891 houses sold out of 5,294 in the Greater Toronto area. And in Peel region, there were 974 sales. And then York region accounted for 921 sales. And the Halton region accounted for 554 sales. And Durham accounted for 776 sales. Dufferin County 30 sales. Simcoe 148. So what I understand from this is that Toronto has the highest number of sales, followed by Peel region, then York region, then Durham region, then coming down to Halton region, and the last one is Dufferin, but the second last is Simcoe County. So this is how the sale was distributed, and Toronto has many different segments: Toronto East, Toronto West, Toronto Central. So out of 1,891 listings that sold in the month of August, 459 sales came only from Toronto West, which is the area Etobicoke and little more areas down there. Toronto Central had the highest sales, 921, and Toronto East towards Scarborough side, 511. So the main selling areas in Toronto West that the region that sold maximum is W08 in Toronto West, and the second highest is W06, and the third highest is W09, W05. So W05, W06, W08 are the highest selling neighborhoods, the MLS regions for sale. In Toronto, C1, which is close to Rogers Center, that's the highest selling, followed by Central 08 as the next one, and then C15 is the third one. So this is where we see those numbers trending. And coming down to this number of sales in summary of existing home transactions, and this is year to date, all through the year to date, till end of the August, right, when the report was published. 49,162 houses exchanged their hands, and the average sale price to list price was 102%, and the number of days on market a listing stayed on market before selling was 18, and total number of days it was on the MLS system was 25 on an average. And the city of Toronto only sold 17,942 sales to end of August, followed by Peel region. Peel region and York region are very close in total number of sales to date. So Peel region sold 8,943 houses, while York region sold 8,896, and Durham, like before, came at number 4 with 6,253 sales. So this is all about the housing market today. If you need some specific information about which neighborhoods are selling more, you can always call me at 647 333 2273, and my phone number is right here. You can ring me on these numbers, and I will be more than happy to share whatever I know about the housing market and satisfy your curiosity. So now I would like to talk a bit about how to protect yourself from the buildings that are not under rent control. So I'm not a lawyer. This is a disclaimer, and this is not a legal advice, but a thought that I want to implant in your mind. And my request is that before you act on this, please do speak with your lawyer and find out what he suggests. So if I were to write your lease offer on a property that is not covered under Rent Control Act, this is what I will mention: that the landlord and tenant agree, understand, and acknowledge that the rent increase will be as per the rent control guidelines of the province of Ontario. The landlord covenants with the tenant that regardless of the fact that this building is not covered under Rent Control Act, the landlord hereby conforms himself with only normal rent increase as per the rent control guidelines. So my language is not legal, but this is a thought. So make sure when you lease such properties, try to put this clause in a better way. I'm just saying on the fly, but it needs a very serious consideration when you are writing a lease offer on those buildings which are exempt from Rent Control Act. At least you and the landlord can come to terms about this, and that's a legal document, right? Then he cannot go back, in my best knowledge, that hey, this building is not governed under Rent Control Act, so I can charge whatever I dreamed about today. So he thought he will charge 9,500 more. It's not happening because he signed the paper. And make sure your lease agreement is for a duration of, let's say, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, rather than you negotiating deal every year. Because once this term expires, he is free to do whatever he wants. So that is a thought I want to give it to you. So make sure you utilize it in some way that is beneficial to you, and speak with your lawyer. That will be more important. And I would like to speak with some lawyer and see if they suggest me something in this regard. Just a thought, but protect yourself. This is really important. Alrighty. So this is the time for us to say goodbye. But before saying goodbye, I would like to offer my condolences to those families who have lost their family member today, and we shall pray for peace to the departed soul, and also that God grant you enough strength to overcome this grief and this big vacuum in your life. So stay tuned, stay with us. We would like to educate you with whatever knowledge we have. If you are interested to sell your property, please give me a call at 647-424-0358 or 647-333-2273. Nothing is binding upon you. You want to have a simple consultation, I would like to share my 18 points listing plan of action with you, at your convenient time. So call me 647-424-0358, 647-333-2273. I hope you like this broadcast. Your views, your take on our program is more than welcome. And I will take your leave right now. Thank you very much once again. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.